The number 6 most viewed video from PragerU is this one. Capitalism versus socialism. Let's dive in, shall we?
Capitalism versus socialism.
Yeah.
We can sum up each economic system in one line. Capitalism is based on human greed. Socialism is based on human need, right?
That's cutting out a hell of a lot. In fact, I don't think I know anyone, capitalist or socialist, who would describe either system that way.
No. Wrong. So wrong.
Oh,
it's
okay.
exactly backwards.
Oh, wait.
I'll prove it.
It's backwards? I mean, that's a reductive way of describing either system, but okay.
To you. Been on Amazon lately? Each of the thousands.
I'll prove it to you by citing an international monopoly whom no one can hope to compete with.
Of products Amazon offers represents the work of people who believe they have something you want or need.
How much product on Amazon do you think is made by slave labor? I've thought about that a lot. I know it's not necessarily any different than any other business, but I've wondered, like, if Amazon's the biggest thing, how much of it is? Probably a non-zero amount, right? Like when I go on Amazon and buy something, I have no way of knowing.
If they're right, they prosper. If they're wrong, they don't. That's how the free market works. It encourages people to improve their lives by satisfying the needs.
I'm sorry, I lost track of what he was saying.
People who believe they have something you want or need. If they're right, they prosper. If they're wrong, they don't.
I mean, I guess we're just going to ignore all the advertising that goes into it. Now, that might have something to do with it.
That's how the free market works.
If the free market worked, there'd be other competitors to Amazon.
It encourages people to improve their lives by satisfying the needs of others.
And Amazon has no incentive to improve their service because what? What, you gonna go shop on eBay? Okay, bye-bye.
No one starts a business making a thing or providing a service for themselves. They start a business to make things or provide services for others.
I mean, that's part of a business, sure, but then another part of business is you're going to work in something that you know. Oh, I'm not going to start like a nursery or a garden center if I don't like plants in some way.
I speak from personal experience. When I was the CEO of the company that owns Carl's Jr. and Hardee's restaurant chains.
There it is. This is also like a really slimy way of saying, oh yeah, I got into this business so I can make a shit ton of money, but I did it for altruistic intentions.
We spent millions of dollars every year trying to determine what customers wanted.
Guess what? What customers wanted also means personal experience. They don't want gluten-free options. I don't get a fucking eat at Carl's Jr. because the market doesn't fucking care about me. That's stupid.
If our customers didn't like something, we changed it, and fast. Because if we didn't, our competitors would, pun intended, eat us for lunch.
Wait, why is there a Pac-Man?
For lunch.
This isn't relevant.
The consumer, that's you, has the ultimate power. In effect, you vote with every dollar you spend.
Not really. Like I just explained, it doesn't even work for me. Market doesn't care about me.
Socialist economy, the government has the ultimate power.
All right. So we're 6 videos in the PragerU list now, and we finally have a definition of socialism. Good job. Good job, guy. This is wrong, of course, but hey, he tried. Socialism is when the government does stuff.
It decides what you get from a limited supply it decides should exist. Instead of millions of people making millions of decisions about what they want, a few people, government elites, decide what people should have and how much they should pay for it.
This graph doesn't make sense. What's the y-axis? There's nothing on the y-axis. Maybe it's like the supply here. Each bar is supposed to be a different kind of supply. Like maybe this is corn, right? And the y-axis is quantity. Okay, maybe that works. Maybe I'm trying to read too much into this. So socialist economy, government has power. And then you get from a limited supply that the government has decided should exist. You're describing a centrally planned economy. No, it's not necessarily the same as socialism.
People making millions of decisions about what they want. A few people, government elites, decide what people should have and how much they should pay for it.
Like healthcare, maybe? So is this socialism or oligarchy?
Not surprising.
All right.
Surprisingly, they always get it wrong. Have you ever noticed that late-stage socialist failures always run out of a...
That's a new one. Late-stage socialist failure. I've heard late-stage capitalism, where it all falls apart. Reason.com, free minds and free markets. This is the first thing that came up. What the fuck is this? We hear a lot about late capitalism these days, mostly on Facebook and Twitter. You are losing me fast. Problem with the joke is only it runs one way. We're familiar with flaws of late capitalism. What about late socialism? Well, better late than never, am I right? Ah. Stupid. Yep, here it is. Venezuela. Yep. All right. They can't help it.
Essential items like toilet paper. Of course, this isn't a problem.
Get it? Because they're full of shit.
For those who have the right connections with the right people. Those chosen few get whatever they want.
So if you got the right connections with the right people, you too can one day have your own supply of toilet paper.
But everyone else is out of luck. Venezuela.
I arrived in time for the honk. I'm so sorry. Okay, so I am really tired lately. I think I blew this too much yesterday.
Once the richest country in South America is the most recent example of socialism driving a prosperous country into an economic ditch.
I mean, there was a lot of stuff that happened there, but all right.
Now, maybe you think it's an unfair example. I'm not sure why, but okay.
I'm not sure why, but okay. Well, Andy, I can tell you why it's not a good example. He knows why. PragerU, Dennis Prager, funded by oil money, fracking billionaires. Venezuela, the largest oil reserves in the world. Let's call it conflict of interest, Mr. Buster. I think you might have a financial investment in trash talk in Venezuela. I think you might be full of shit and oil money.
We'll ignore the fact that leftist activists celebrated it as a great socialist success right up until it wasn't.
It's non sequitur, really.
Now, maybe you think it's an unfair example. I'm not sure why, but okay.
Okay, maybe you think it's an unfair example.
We'll ignore the fact that...
No, this is not how arguments work. If you say, maybe you think that's an unfair example, okay, then you're supposed to argue against a steel man of my argument. But instead you just talk about leftist activists.
Celebrated it.
This video doesn't even have the animation they had of Sean Penn and Belafonte.
Great
that the other one did.
Success.
They just went with the text. They didn't even outline the text. It's boring. So sad. Oh my god, I just realized something. What? The top button is unbuttoned? Why? That's weird. I've never seen that before. Why would he do that? This is irrelevant on my part, but it's just as relevant as talking about leftist activists.
But what about Western European countries?
Okay. Maybe you think it was a bad idea. Maybe you think it's unfair. But what about Western? Okay, maybe that's a better argument, I guess. Maybe that does follow.
Have socialist economies. People seem pretty happy there.
Don't they?
Why can't we have what they have?
No, that's a good question. Why can't we have what they have?
Free healthcare, free college, stronger unions.
Yeah.
Good question.
He's not going to give a good answer, is he?
And the answer may surprise you. There are no socialist countries in Western Europe.
Okay.
Most are just as capitalist as the United States.
Side note, while I may agree with this may be true, there's a problem with your argument, Mr. Carls Jr.
The only difference, and it's a big one, is that they offer more government benefits than the U.S. does. We can argue about the cost of these benefits and the point at which they reduce individual initiative.
Okay, that's insane. Oh yeah, you got free healthcare, which means you don't have to worry about your chemotherapy bankrupting you. But that's removing individual initiative. Oh yeah, because I'm sure when I have fucking lymphoma, I'm just filled with the drive to go work for my fucking medication. I have leukemia and there's cancer in my blood and my bones and I can't even get up out of bed. But no, letting me have my pills, that's gonna reduce it. That's gonna reduce my fucking initiative if I have free healthcare. Now hold on. What was the argument he used earlier?
In a socialist economy, the government has the ultimate power.
In a socialist economy, the government has the ultimate power. Like Venezuela. Venezuela, horrible, socialista. Boo! Oh, but now we have Europe has healthcare. No socialist. Oh, you don't have a coherent definition.
There are no socialist countries in Western Europe. Most are just as capitalist as the United States.
Unbelievable.
We can argue about the cost of these benefits and the point at which they reduce individual initiative, thus doing more harm than good. Scandinavians have been debating those questions for years.
Well, if they've been debating it for years and their country hasn't fallen apart into, as you put it, a late-stage socialist failure, I guess those policies worked then, didn't they? Socialism never works. Norway is socialist. They're doing great. They're not socialists. They're capitalist countries with strong welfare policies. Then let's adopt those policies. No, that's socialism. It's a fucking circular argument. These people don't fucking care. They don't have a consistent definition of socialist. They just don't want to improve the world. They just want us to all live in fucking poverty and die of diabetes.
Can produce the wealth necessary to sustain all of the supposedly free stuff Europeans enjoy.
There it is, free stuff. Like that one lady brought up in that other video. I forgot her name already. Not really free. Okay, yeah, sure. Guess what? Free market's not really free either, baby! What do they think free market means? Just when the government doesn't get involved? I think that is what they mean. It's not a good idea.
To get the free stuff, after all, you have to create enough wealth to generate enough tax revenue to pay for everything the government gives away.
Okay, the United States is the wealthiest nation, not only on the planet, but in the history of all of humanity. Why don't we have this so-called free stuff then? Well, it's quite simple, really. It's because certain people in politics don't want us to have that free stuff. They want us to fucking die.
Without capitalism, you're Venezuela.
Yeah, I'm sure. That makes sense. Why did Venezuela fall apart? They never actually explained that. They never actually explained this happened in Venezuela causing this. They just say, oh, Hugo Chavez went on TV and sang for hours. Oh, the oil companies left. Oh, we don't have toilet paper. Why not?
In a 2015 speech at Harvard, Denmark's prime minister took great pains to make this point. I know that some people in the U.S. associate the Nordic model with socialism. Therefore, I would like to make one thing clear. Denmark is far from a socialist planned economy. Denmark is a market economy.
All right, hold up. Sleight of hand here. Couple things going on. First off, I'm pretty sure this Danish prime minister is talking about people like you. I forgot his name already. Man, I'm forgetting everything. Andy Puzder. Pretty sure he's talking about people like you, Andy. Yeah, people who say, oh, free healthcare is socialist. Yeah, he's talking about you. He ain't talking about people like me. Not only that, second sleight of hand here. Danish prime minister... Oh my god. We'll just call you Lars. Lars. Me and Lars, we go way back. Denmark is far from a... Denmark is far from a socialist planned economy. Denmark is a market economy. Hey, what's this? Planned economy? Hey, Andy, you didn't say these words before. Why did you not? Why were you calling it all socialist before? But now you're leaving out planned economy up until this point when it's a direct quote. I feel like that might be an important distinction for the kind of economy you're trying to describe. But it might benefit your argument if you leave it out because you realize that what you're describing is not the same thing. It seems like most of your arguments are about planned economies and you're just kind of conflating that with socialism. Which, to be fair, you know, to the American education system, it's one and the same thing. I don't even know where I am. What am I doing? Okay. Political economic theory of social organization, which advocates the means of production, distribution, and exchange should be owned or regulated by the community as a whole. Hey, that's not the same thing. This is not the definition that Andy is using. This is not the definition he's attacking. He's attacking something entirely different. Wonder why that is. Andy Puzder. Why is it that people like them can't ever, like, actually sit down and, like, honestly say, these are these definitions. This is how I define this. I'm going to argue against this. They always have to go Venezuela and throw in all these other weird anecdotes. So
when you point to Denmark as a paragon of socialism, you're really singing the praises of capitalism.
No! You're singing the praises of a market economy with welfare benefits. Which, you know, a market economy is not necessarily the same as capitalism. I bet he don't want you to know that. PragerU don't want you to know that either. What do you got?
The more capitalism, the less socialism you need.
This is a weird graph. It would make more sense to have like a pie chart, or if it's like one rectangular bar pushing back and forth. I don't know. Maybe someone in the animation department is just phoning it in now.
The more capitalism, the less socialism you need.
The more capitalism, the less socialism you need? How does that work? So are you arguing that you need socialism in some cases where capitalism is not working? Or would you argue capitalism always works? What is capitalism to you? Because I know what capitalism is. What do you think Andy thinks capitalism is? See, capitalism is supposed to mean a private ownership of the means of production, or production, supply, distribution, all of that. It's supposed to be like, as opposed to, you know, when the fucking monarchs ran it and they like approved mercantiles, they approved, the big East India Company. Yeah, you can do all the work for me. It's supposed to be an evolution of that. At least modern laissez-faire capitalism is supposed to be an evolution of that. It's the next step in the chain where it's like, well, anyone can do this now. You don't need approval of the king to do this. I feel like that's not the argument Andy would use. That's not the definition he'd use. It benefits these people to not be consistent with their definitions. That way they can play fast and loose with whatever argument they want to give in the heat of the moment.
Look at America since 2017.
All right.
A policy of lower taxes and less government regulation. That's more capitalism.
Oh, wow. Less taxes, less government regulation. The economy go up. Bar go up. Blue bar go up. Wait, what year did this come out? March 4th, 2019. So, the economy, if y'all know, the economy has fucking crashed. We have record unemployment numbers, record numbers of people losing their jobs, record layoffs. Now you could say, oh, it's all because of COVID. Well, it's not all because of COVID, actually. Because guess what? You know what happens when a graph goes up? You know what happens when the chart gets really high? It crashes. It goes down. Number go down. That's really simple and reductive, I recognize. Dow Jones. Let's take a look at the Dow Jones. Up and up and up. Boom. That took a dive real quick. But then it went back up. Went back up to where it was. Yeah, that's nice. Oh, that's great. It means the economy's doing well, right? No! It just means the line on a graph goes up. Guess what? The stock market doing well doesn't mean the rest of us are. It means the stock market's doing well. It means the people who own stocks are probably doing better, depending on the stocks, of course. Yeah, there's also no sources. Normally, you have something like this, you should have numbers on the side, or like on the bottom here, like, are there sources here? Oh, look, to view the script, sources, quiz, and study guides, visit this link. And hey, it's not a dead page. I feel like this is going to be an interesting dive. Let's take a look. Hey, timeout, editing attack here. I wanted to point something out. So when you look at the sources on the page on PragerU's website for Capitalism v. Socialism. Okay, first thing here, free market encourages people to improve their lives by satisfying the needs of others. Capitalism harnesses self-interest to make things or provide services for others. Okay, doubt, but whatever. First link.
When you
YouTube video, Milton Friedman. Okay. Number 2. Capitalist economies, companies spend millions to find out what their customers want. I would have believed this is true without a source, but hey, credit for using it. But what's this when we click it? From Reason TV. It's Andy Putzer. It's the same guy. He's citing himself. Capitalism and democracy are inherently linked, both placing power of the country in the hands of its citizens. View source. National Review article. Socialism's proponents often try to distinguish democratic socialism from socialism, but the results are the same. He doesn't bring this up in the video at all. View source. Oh, look, it's another PragerU video. They're citing themselves. Not only are they citing themselves, this one has Steven Crowder in it. Oh, how low can you get? Socialist society's self-interest is not eliminated, but is focused on gaining political power. This is not brought up at all in the video. This is absolutely ridiculous, and it is absolutely not substantiated that any socialist society is any different from capitalist ones, because quite literally, this is how our system works too. Watch Andy Putzer, Capitalist Comeback, and the left's attempts to thwart it. What? Thwart his book? From the Heritage Foundation. Look at that. Wow. All socialist governments require violent control over the population. Venezuela is no different. This is literally our country right now. United States, world's largest prison population. We've literally seen entire massive protests this year over the police fucking murdering people. Source is also National Review. Yeah. Watch How Socialism Doing in Venezuela. Debbie D'Souza. Also a PragerU video. Contrary to popular belief, there are no socialist countries in Western Europe. Most allegedly socialist countries in Europe are just as capitalist as the United States. Key distinctions are they have larger welfare programs and higher tax rates. Okay, but just a little bit up here. Socialism proponents try to distinguish democratic socialism from socialism, but the results are the same. These are kind of conflicting. In your own list of sources, they conflict each other. What a mess! I know we criticize PragerU because the majority of their videos have no sources, but this is what happens when they do. It's just a contradictory mess of them citing themselves and far-right internet media outlets like the National Review. Yeah, okay, so as usual, high intellectual standards being done at PragerU. Alright, I'm sorry for cutting into this. I'll get back to the PragerU video now. What have we got?
Has led to a robust economic expansion, something thought impossible just a few years earlier.
I don't know if that was true, but okay.
Unemployment, notably among minority groups, typically most at risk for poverty, is at a generational low.
Unemployment for minority groups typically at risk for poverty is at a generational low. That doesn't mean they're not in poverty. It just means they're in poverty and employed. Conveniently, this framing here leaves out everyone working in the gig economy. Yeah, I'm employed. I work a job that it's 10 hours a week making minimum wage. Okay. Wow. Yep. Nope. You're employed, baby. Wow. I can't find any more work because everything else is out of business and shut down now because of the COVID pandemic, this was written before. This video was before that, but the gig economy is still a thing. I've had it. We'll just go.
Economic expansion gets people off welfare and into work. That's less socialism.
But you just said it wasn't, though. You said it wasn't when Norway did it. Holy shit, he can't even be consistent within 5 minutes.
None of this requires a degree in economics.
I mean, it might help. Clearly, you have a lot to learn.
Common sense is all you need.
Yeah, anyone who says that, you can just write them off.
That's why it's so frustrating to see young people praising socialism and criticizing capitalism.
Oh my, I can imagine it might be frustrating if people get mad at you because you keep going back and forth and flip-flopping on how you're going to define these things.
It's bad enough that they're working against their own interest. Better job prospects, better wages,
Citation
personal
needed.
freedom.
You didn't say anything about job prospects, wages, or freedom in this video. What does freedom have to do with any of this? Freedom. Wow. You know, I sure would like to have freedom of being able to work whatever job I want and not having to stick there because my health insurance is stuck there. And if I leave the job, I'm going to have to work 6 months at some other company before I can get their health insurance. I sure would like the freedom of not having to go work 40 hours a week for some shitty company where they don't actually like me and I hate everybody there. It sure would be nice to have the freedom to work for, as you put it, Amazon, and work for a union where we can advocate for better conditions to work under. No, you see, by wanting these things, that means I'm fighting against my own self-interests. Isn't it, Andy? Why are you linking Mein Kampf in the YouTube chat? What is going on? Order of chaos in the end of Western civilization? Oh, you're referencing Jordan Peterson. Oh, okay. I don't know if I feel like getting to Jordan Peterson today. I already feel like my brain's giving out.
But they're also working against the interest of the less fortunate. Capitalism leads to economic democracy. So.
Oh. Ooh, such a, weaselly little fuck. All right, yeah, okay. No. If this were the case, you would be advocating for poor people to have a greater say in the workplace. You're not advocating for economic democracy. You can vote with your money. No, if you cared about that, you care about unions, but you don't.
Socialism leads to the economic dictatorship of the elite.
Okay.
Always.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because that's totally not what's fucking happening right now in the United States. It's totally not like giant corporations have all of our politicians in their pockets. That's totally not a thing. It's totally not like rich fat cats like you are part of this system that's falling apart around us day by day. It's totally not like COVID was just the latest push that this house of cards needed just to completely fumble and fall in on itself. You know, if you care about economic democracy, maybe we should have, like, voting. Why can't I vote for my CEO? Why can't I vote for my boss? Why is that? You ever think about that?
So beware what you ask for.
What have I asked for? I know I just said voting for my CEO and boss, but I don't care about that. Why can't I have my pills? Why can't I have my medications without it being called socialist? You called it socialist. You called it free stuff.
You just might get it.
Please, don't threaten me with a good time.
I'm Andy Puzder, the author of The Capitalist Comeback for Prager University.
Capitalist comeback? What, because they're fucking all of us and then they come on our back?
Thank you for watching this video. To help keep PragerU videos free, please consider making a tax-deductible donation.
To me. Don't do it to PragerU, do it to me. I won't do anything with it that's productive. I don't think it's tax deductible. Look at his smug fucking face. Ew.
Hi everyone. I'd like to give a special thanks to all of my November patron backers. Dios, Elsie Hupp, George, Jerry Pulamo, and Mellow Cheddar. Thanks again, everyone. As you may have noticed, we finally passed 2,000 subscribers. Round of applause. Wouldn't be possible without all of you. Good job, everyone. We got some good stuff cooking. I always say that.